Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the next episode in the continuing story of the Future Kings. For those of you that do not know about Future Kings are a not-for-profit organization here in Prince William County. We say that we are engineering great futures, and we do that by providing advanced STEM education for boys in grades 6 to 12. We've been in operation now for 10 years. Our 4 technical programs are biomedical sciences, computer game design, engineering, and cybersecurity. In addition to that, we teach 21st century skills in things such as presentations, financial management, workplace protocols, and other similar types of topics. Today, we're being joined by 2 professionals that are leading our cybersecurity program. Our previous cybersecurity program was named White Hat Junior, and there were specific reasons why we named it White Hat Junior. But this year we have partnered with a for-profit corporation named New Tech Education, and they have created courseware that we are using in the Future Kings program. And so we have invited some of their leadership to this meeting tonight to talk about cybersecurity training for boys in the Future Kings program. So I would like to start by asking Dr. Wesley Phillips and Ms. Cheryl Abrams to tell us where you work and what your role is with New Tech Education.
Well, hi, Dr. King. Thank you for having us here. I'm the subject matter expert for cybersecurity training with New Tech Systems.
Hi, Cheryl Abram. I am the learning designer and curriculum designer for New Tech.
And I'd like to dig a little deeper in that by having each of you say a little bit about your background and how you came to those roles in New Tech. Dr. Phillips?
Okay, well, I worked in federal law enforcement. I am a graduate of the NSA's Technical Surveillance Countermeasure course. So I did cybersecurity, or information systems security as they called it back then, for the President of the United States. And I earned a master's degree in project management and information systems security. I became a college professor post law enforcement, and I was teaching cybersecurity as one of my many courses. The curriculum in the universities were not exactly, they were very theoretical. So I started to kind of branch out and do more practical things and bring that to the classroom for the students.
And Ms. Abrams, how about you?
Well, I started my career in the Army, and from there I went on to college to become a social worker. And from social work, I delved a little bit into the nonprofit world. And from the nonprofit, I went into government, which is still public service, so it's really something that I loved. So I've been working in training, learning design, and evaluation in government for about 16 years now. And for the past 3 years, I've been involved a lot, mostly through Dr. Phillips, in cybersecurity. And I found that it was a really fertile place for instructional design and learning design, and a place where I could really spread my wings and do a lot of the things that I love to do.
Great. Now, I didn't say this before, but both of you actually volunteer with Future Kings as well. Mm-hmm. So we're going to come back to that, but I wanted to say volunteers are the backbone of the Future Kings program, and we are so excited and blessed to have you as volunteer instructors in our cybersecurity program. As I mentioned in the beginning, our previous cybersecurity training was titled White Hat Junior program. And we have moved away from that into a new name called Cyber's Future. And that's because that's the name that New Tech gave to their cybersecurity training program. So I'm not sure where the name came from. Would you two tell me how the name Cyber's Future came to New Tech?
You want to tackle
Over
that?
a lot of discussion and tears and heartache. So we were thinking, okay, what's the idea? What are we really looking to do here? And what's the landscape look like? You know, what does the cybersecurity landscape look like? And what we what we want to produce are individuals who are really able to be effective and to navigate the future of cybersecurity. So these boys and girls that we are helping to develop are, in fact, the future of cybersecurity. You know, they're going to be the ones who are going to be protecting and defending us as individuals, as communities, as an entire nation. So that's where the name really came from.
Dr. Phillips, you have any input on that?
Yeah, we looked around too to make sure no one else had the name.
Exactly.
We did. You know, there are a lot of great programs out there, and you know, we tried to make ours as different and unique as possible. We didn't want to emulate anything, and we wanted it to be real and literal. So these boys and hopefully girls one day who are their cyber's future.
Well, that was a great name that you chose, and we're very excited. That's one reason why, in reviewing your program and talking to each of you, I knew that it would fit in and would be a significant improvement over what we've been doing in the past in Future Kings. And so we're very, very excited about that. To circle back on one of the comments you made just a minute ago, in Future Kings, we have always talked about we want to prepare our participants for life after high school, that we want to give our participants a competitive advantage over their peers who are graduating with them. Can you each talk a little bit about how you think this program, if we take all the various modules and all the different steps along the way, how that will help boys in Future Kings have a competitive advantage over their peers?
You want to start?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's see. As I stated in the beginning during my introduction, I taught on the college level, and my master's degree personally taught me a lot of great theory, but I had to go out and learn practical application myself. So understanding that these boys are our future, cyber's future, we need to teach them earlier, industry-wide, because these industries, they are having a difficult time finding qualified people that actually know how to actually do or perform many of the tasks that need to be performed to help keep our nation safe. And, if they start at, hypothetically, say 12 or 13 years old, within 5 years, they'll actually meet that 5-year requirement that many of these positions are looking for. And we also teach the boys the importance of earning certifications, and hopefully they will have, well, I call it E squared, C squared, just education, experience, we're teaching that, certifications, and maybe hopefully they'll get a clearance too. And in the DMV, clearance is pretty much it, but still they can go anywhere as long as they apply what it is that we're teaching them. We're also teaching them from the NIST and the NICE protocols, the National Initiative for Cyber Security Education. We're concentrating on problem solving. So we give them problems, real problems to solve. We start with games to make it fun, gain their interest. Then we segue to the real problems that a company or an employer may ask you to solve. Then that will, you give someone a real problem that's going to cause them to start thinking more critically. Then they'll have to communicate orally and writtenly better. And we are seeing evidence of these boys just naturally gravitating toward it. Not to mention, this is their era. This is the computer era. We dinosaurs, if you will. We could take or leave computer. There were many other options for us to do. But now it doesn't matter what industry or profession you work in, we all use a computer. We all have a cell phone. One of the things I tell my students is, hey, everyone does cybersecurity in one way or another. Do you have a username? Do you have a password? I bet you do. And my name is probably on your phone. I would like for you to keep that secure just as I'm keeping it secure.
Cheryl, I heard you say that you were teaching adults, and that a lot of your professional career was in teaching adults. But now as a volunteer with Future Kings, in the volunteering with the cybersecurity program, Future Kings. I'm sure you've noticed some differences between working with adults and working with boys in this age group. Can you give me a couple differences that you see?
Yes, there are absolutely differences between adult learning and teaching children, teaching kids. One of those is that it's very, very important because of children's attention span, to really be able to get in there really quickly and capture their attention and help them care about the topic that they're listening to. Because their attention span is so brief, you really have to get in there with something that, with the hook, And one way that we do that goes back to the competitive advantage and competitive edge of Cyber's Future, is the way that it's designed, right? So we spoke to the parents, we spoke to other stakeholders, we spoke to the kids to really find out what is it that you really want to know about this, right? And then they told us things like, they want, they just want to learn how to work all this stuff. They want to get some certifications. They want to make money right now. So really getting in there and showing them, okay, designing it so that they actually get those things that they're looking for right away. Like they don't have to wait 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, down the road or something, right? They really get to have those interactions that they want to have with each other and with individuals, rock stars within the cyber community, right? And not just the kids, the other stakeholders also get something out of this. The parents get something out of it. The county that we're in gets something out of it. They get a pool of diverse individuals who are ready and available to apply for jobs, once they get to that stage. So really tailoring the learning to capture the kids' interest, help them care throughout, help them feel confidence in what they're doing and competent, because you get a lot of meaning out of things where you feel really competent. And we've also heard the kids say things like they feel really powerful when they finally learn how to do these things, which we also have to watch out for, because that feeling of power can get out of hand. So we do a lot in the course to stress ethics, and using the things that they're learning in a very ethical way so that they don't do harm to people.
I was in one of the classes, and Dr. Phillips was going through that ethics piece, and he had an example of a kid in their age group who had done the wrong thing with the skills he got and was in jail, I think, wasn't he?
12 years old.
How the students in Future Kings react to the fact that even at their age, they could wind up in jail if they misuse the skills that you're giving?
Right. Well, it was a really great discussion. It was surprisingly good. I thought they would just say, okay, on to the next slide. But they had a lot of questions. What did he do? It's the obvious question. And if I recall, I think he hacked into the police station or the government. And I think it was in Canada. And he was coerced by a well-known hacking entity. And they just wanted to know more about that. And they wanted to know what he did, and we kind of summarize it as, if we will show you how to do that ethically. There is a difference between hacking and ethical hacking. We will teach you that, we will show you that, because we don't want you to go to jail ever. We also don't want you to make mistakes. And even if you say, hey, well, it was a mistake, law enforcement won't exactly look at it like that. You know a whole lot about computers, and you're using this for harm. And it was just a great conversation.
The ethics piece, I know, is very important because in this age group, they have a skill. It's fun to use it. They don't see the harm. They don't see the danger in doing this.
Right.
They only see the fun. I can do this. I can do that. Adults should be protecting against what I'm trying to do. I know more than what this adult does. And they have all these ideas, and those are reasons why a lot of adult programs don't want to include kids, because they're afraid that the kid is going to misuse So the fact that you built ethics and made it such an important part with teaching Future Kings, we're preparing them for great careers. We don't want that great career to be held in jail because they misuse cyber.
Right.
So
That's right. Yeah.
that was one of the other things that really attracted me to what you're trying to do, because you're teaching them high-level adult skills, but you're also teaching them how to manage that. And lots of other programs for kids in this age group stay away from really getting them advanced cyber skills because they're afraid that the kids are going to be misusing it. So that's something I really appreciate about your program.
And one thing that Wesley and I have talked about is that these kids can learn cyber anyway. There is so much YouTube, Google. They really don't need a classroom to learn this stuff. The value that we add is that structure, is that safe space for them to be able to learn these kinds of things without getting in trouble, without, hacking into their neighbor's Wi-Fi or something like that. They really do need those kinds of lessons, those kinds of soft skills. They need to develop some kind of empathy so that they know, when I use this, I have to use it for good. I cannot use it to harm other people.
Right. This is early intervention.
Yeah.
We want to catch them now before it's too late.
Right.
And whenever you tell a student, hey, don't do this, what do?
They do it.
They go do it.
Exactly.
So we're now just trying to show them how and why and when to do whatever that we ask them to do.
So I think there's elements of your program more than I've seen in others. And we did look at other programs. I think that is so valuable. One of the problems that we have in Future Kings is it's not a problem, but we have to structure and organize our training in technical areas in 2-hour blocks just because of the nature of how we're set up. I know that that's not the natural way to do this, okay? So what are some of the changes that you've had to make, or some of the adjustments you had to make so that your training is fitting into these 2-hour blocks that we have, as opposed to what you might want to do as a 4-hour block or even an all-day session? Can you tell me how you accept those challenges?
Well, one of the things we're using is Google Classroom, right? So all of the lessons we're putting in Google Classroom. So if we don't have time to really delve deeply into something, they can go in there. We have videos in there. There's links where they can do games like Code Combat, I think it is. Very a lot of gaming. Right. There's really quick question and answers that they can do. So they can go in there on their own time, and we try to keep it down to no more than 5 hours a week that they would have to dedicate to doing this, doing these things. But the Google Classroom is one of the ways that we
and a lot of the cybersecurity things they have to do is kind of fun. So they look forward to actually seeing what it is that they have to do. Okay. And it's adult level stuff. We just scale it back based on time. And we have 2 hours. Ideally, we would love for 4 hours, but hey, we just concentrate more on one thing more than the other as we continue on the program, and we give them some independent learning or homework, if you will, to do at home so that they can fill in the gaps, if any, and then we properly assess them for those skills when we meet for our review, which we do first and during every class.
And that's something else that was important to us, to maintain the consistency that we had with our previous program, that this is performance-based, is not based on seat time. So you're not going to advance in this just by coming to class and sitting there. You have to be able to do and show that you have mastered a certain skill in order to move on to the next. Right. Well, again, we certainly love having you with Future Kings this year. Your Cyber Future program has been a tremendous upgrade. From my contact with the students in your program, we're off to a fantastic start. And so I really do appreciate your volunteering your time, as well as bringing your new tech course to Future Kings. I can't say thank you enough, and we really do appreciate your time and your contribution.
Thank you very much, Dr. King.
Yes, okay. You're very welcome.
And with that ends this evening's program. Thank you very much for attending, and we look forward to seeing you at our next session.